So for today, we are going to solve this kind of inequality question. So in order to do that, you can see that we have three things here. We have now -2, we have our fraction, we have 4. So we are going to let those be equal to y. So we're going to sketch them on this axis. So we have y equal to -2. I'm going to use red to represent the straight line. So we have this as my y equal to -2. So I'm going to write it here, y is equal to -2. It's cutting at the -2, the y-axis, and we have a 4 there. So I'm going to use a green line to represent this y equal to 4 here. So this will be my y equal to 4. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to sketch the one in the middle. So you can use your graphic calculator to sketch it out. You'll get something like this. When you use a blue line to represent the curve, you're going to get something like this. And then this. Okay, so in order to solve this inequality, we are just one step ahead to the answer. All we need to do is to find the solution between 4 and -2. So you can see between my green line and my red line, I have this region. I'm going to highlight to show you. I have this region until here, and the region until there. It's going to go on forever, right? So we have these two parts to find, and that will be our inequality. We are going to solve it using these two parts. But in order to do that, we need to find the intersection between the graph and the line. So what we're going to do, you can use your GCE to find the intersection. So we go and find the intersection here. The green line and the blue line cuts at this point is going to be -3. We're going to find the coordinate of our x-axis, and here from the red line and the blue line, the intersection will be -1. So it's cutting at -3 and -1 for the x coordinate. So once you get that, all you need to do is to write down the range. You can see that from here we have our -3. So we start from here -3 all the way towards the negative side, which is less than -3. So we have one of the range to be x is less than -3. Okay, or we have another one to be here, because you can see that between the red line and the blue line we have another one that is more than -1 and is going all the way towards the positive region. So we have another range to be x is more than or equal to -1. Once you get these two, that is the answer for solving this inequality question. Alright, for our next type of inequality question, it looks something like this. We have our absolute, the modulus at the denominator. So we're going to shift everything to one side and make the other side to be 0. So you can see that this whole graph is more than 0, and we are using the graphing method 0 to find the inequality for our x. So you will get something like this if you're going to input this graph into the calculator. So what will we need to find? We need to find the x-intercept. So we have here to be -9, and this to be -3/7. And then we also need to find the asymptote. So you can get that from the denominator. We have x minus 1 there. So we have x equal to 1. So this will be 1. And we have that, make x the subject. You have this to be -3/2. So it's important to get the x-intercept and the asymptote value. Okay, once we get that, we are going to find the answer. So you can see that the whole graph is more than 0. So we're going to accept everything above our x-axis. So we're going to let this be the answer. We need this portion. We need this as well because it's above the x-axis, and we need this. Alright, so anything below the x-axis is not needed for this question because the equation, the graph is more than 0. That is what we want for this inequality to work. So all we need to do now is to write down the range. As you can see from here on my left hand side, we have our -9, and you can see that it's going all the way less than -9. So we have this set to be x. We have it to be x less than -9. So that is one of our answer. We have here as well, you can see that it is being cut by an asymptote. So how are we going to write that? In order to write that, you can see that we have -3/7. And if you do not have the asymptote, it's going to be from -3/7 all the way increasing from that number. So it's going to be getting more and more positive, except for 1, because there's an asymptote that cuts the graph. So we just have to write x is more than -3/7 when x is not equal to 1. So with that, we have found the inequality solution for this type of graph. So for this type of question, we have to solve this, and hence we got to find this. We got to find this set of solution from that. The inequality, we got to solve it. But before that, we're going to find what is this solution. We're going to solve this first. So we're going to find this. Okay, so here you have the graph. You're going to look something like this. Shift everything to the other side. Use the graphing method 0. You're going to look something like this, and you can see that the inequality sign showing that it's less than or equal to 0. So I want everything to be less than, which is everything below my x-axis. So we have something like this. So we're going to find the asymptote as usual. So we have this as 1, and that is 4. You can look at that from the denominator of the equation. And then we will need to find this intercept, the x-intercept. It happens to be 10. So we're gonna find the solution less than 0. So it will be this portion and this portion. Alright, everything is above the x-axis. We will just reject, do not need that. We just need these two parts. So we're going to write down the inequality set first. It's going to be x. Okay, it's between 1 to 4, and it's not including the equal sign because it's not touching the asymptote. So we have 1 to 4 for this set, and we have that 10, 10, right? We got that to be x is more than or equal to 10. It's increasing from 10 and it's cutting at the x-axis at 10. So we got these two inequality set, and hence we got to solve that with the modular sign at the denominator. So first we got to shift around. You can just stay there because I shift my 3 over x minus 1 over the other side to use for the graphing method 0. But in this case, how we're gonna make this to be something like this. Okay, now to do that, we're gonna solve this. It's gonna be 1 over. So I'm gonna write this down first. The first thing, we need to take out the number 2 from here, the mod. And then we're going to factorize it. So we're going to factorize out the 2. That will get us this. So now you can see that I have something similar to here. And I have this section to be similar except for the 2. So I'm going to bring the 2 over to the other side, and that will get me to this. And now finally we have made it looks like the same as what we have previously. So the only difference is that now the x is being mod. So what do we need to do? All we need to do is to write down to change the inequality x to be mod x. So I'm going to write it down here. So you can see that now x is being replaced with mod x. Okay, so once we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to break them up. If we have something like this being combined together, we're going to break them up into one of this, and then we're going to have another one of this. So we're going to break it up. This one is just by itself. Okay, so when you break it up, remember that it's different from mod x more than or equal to 10. So we need to later on combine this section again. Always remember to reject the ones for the mod when you see negative value. Even if the range that's negative, you just have to reject it, because mod always give you a positive answer, right? So now let us solve this side first, where mod x is more than or equal to 10. So we have one to be positive, and then we have another one to be negative. So for the negative one, if I bring my negative over, we have to flip the inequality sign. So we have these two answers. So this is the answer for this section. So we're going to go on to the next part. Now we have two of them, right? So we're going to split it up. So one of it will be this. So I have one of them to be like this. Another one is negative x. So I can write it down first for every one of them. And the other one will be negative x and 4. So for the one that has negative, we're going to bring it over and flip the sign. So it's going to be something like this. So the next thing to do is we're going to represent this inequality on a number line. Okay, I need to write this to be -1 and this to be -4. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this so it's easier to see. Okay, once we get this, we're going to represent it on a number line. So we have our 0 here. So we can see that x is, this is 1 and this is -1. This will be my x more than 1. And then we have x less than 1 to be here. And then we have another one to be for the 4. We have 1 here, 1 here. This is 4 and this is -4. So this is 4. So it's going this way. And then for our -4, it's going this way. So if you can look at where it overlaps, it will be overlapping at this section for all of them. And this one. Right, so once you get that, all we need to do is to write down the final inequality for our x to be -4 and to -1. And the other range will be 1:4. So your 4 answer will be this 1, 2, and we have our x to be more than -10 and less than -10.